What's up, guys? I'm Noah Cooper with Athletic Body Systems. If you clicked on this video, you're probably looking to improve your core strength while also making your abs look better than they do now. In order for you to build your core strength, you have to understand the function of your core, and that is bracing whenever you move heavy objects. I've talked before on this channel about the Valsalva maneuver. This is whenever you take in a huge breath of air and you brace your core like you're about to get punched in the stomach before a heavy lift. If you watch any of my training vlogs, then you see me do this every time I squat and deadlift. Squatting and deadlifting done with proper bracing alone will do a lot to build your core strength and develop your abs. However, because of this, there are a lot of people who don't believe that direct ab work is necessary. I'm not one of those people. Your abs have more functions besides just bracing, which include rotational and crunching movements, and I think if you don't train those movements, you're just going to leave gains on the table. There are a lot of common mistakes whenever it comes to ab training, and you have a lot of influencers to thank for this, because a ton of influencers are always making videos like 5-minute ab workouts, 8-minute abs, things like that, that usually involve a bunch of different exercises thrown together in a circuit-like fashion, done for very high reps in certain amounts of time with very short rest periods. The truth is that your abs respond to training just like any other muscle. The best way to hit any muscle is to pick a select few quality exercises with a relatively long range of motion, and to get stronger at those exercises over time. The problem with the quick ab workouts is that they give you too many exercises with not enough rest periods and no focus on progressive overload for each of the exercises that you're doing. Before we get into how to make your ab workouts better, we got to talk about the cold hard truth first, and that is that no matter how hard you train your abs, you'll never be able to see them if you are carrying too much body fat around your midsection. Your body fat is stored around your organs underneath your muscles, but it's also stored underneath your skin as well, on top of the muscles. So you can do these ab workouts all day long, you can improve your core strength, but if you're carrying too much body fat, you'll never be able to see your abs. Now, it is possible if you're a beginner and you're not really overweight and you don't have much of a gut, that your abs just really aren't developed enough to really pop out so you can see them and they look the way you want them to. But usually 99% of the time, the reason that you can't see your abs is just because you're not lean enough. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of influencers like to put leanness and shredded six-packs up on a pedestal, but that's a different video topic for a different day. My personal favorite ab exercise is the hanging leg raise. Okay, this is a very challenging exercise and you might not be able to do this if you're a beginner. That's okay, you can do hanging knee raises instead. Just apply these principles whenever you do this exercise. Okay, a common mistake that people make is lifting their legs straight up without moving their torso. This is going to turn it into a very hip flexor dominant movement. What you want to do instead is you want to try to curl your hips, your butt, and your pelvis and everything towards the ceiling and bring your knees up to your chest. You don't want to use a lot of momentum whenever you do this exercise. You don't want to start swinging back and then kicking your legs up, okay? Raise your legs as high as you can, and then have a general sense of control as you lower your legs back down. Next up, we have sit-ups done on a decline bench. You can make this exercise more challenging by holding a dumbbell or a kettlebell either in front of you or behind you. It doesn't really matter, just whichever one you prefer. But I prefer this exercise over regular sit-ups on the floor because you have no back support when you get to the bottom of the movement. When you get down to the bottom, without that back support, your core has to brace a ton in order to keep your back parallel to the floor. Pro tip, guys, whenever you do this exercise, don't go all the way down, just bring your spine parallel to the floor. You don't really get any benefit out of going lower than this. While we're on the topic of lower back, any ab exercise that you do should be done with your pelvis tilted forward so that your low back remains flat. This is done just so that you can minimize any low back pain you might have when doing ab exercises, and it also just helps set you up in a better position for any of your ab exercises because it helps get your abs in a better starting position and it'll help you feel them a lot more when you do your ab workouts. To know if your back is in the right position, just lie down flat on the floor and then take your hand and place it down underneath your low back where there's a natural curve in your spine, and then tilt your pelvis forward so that your low back gets flattened down to the floor. If you're doing this correctly, you should not be able to get your hand underneath your back. For rotational movements, I really like the Russian twist. You can do this with a dumbbell or a medicine ball to add resistance and make it more challenging. You can also play around with your foot position to make it a little bit easier or a little bit harder depending on how strong you are at this exercise. So if you're just starting out, it's probably easiest if you keep your legs on the ground. It gets a little bit more challenging when you have your feet up in the air with your legs straight out in front of you, and it's going to be the hardest when your feet are just off the floor like this, because you want to maintain that flat low back position while you're doing this. Just make sure when you do this exercise that you're actually rotating your entire torso and you're not just moving your arms from side to side. As always, play around with your training, find exercises that you enjoy. Just shoot for quality over quantity. I only do direct ab work like once a week right now, and I do a couple of exercises, 3 sets of each. I rest 2 minutes between each set, and I aim to reach failure anywhere between 8 and 15 reps. So just play around with it and do something reasonable like that. And like training any other muscle group, just make sure you get stronger over time, and then I promise you your abs are going to grow. Alright guys, that's pretty much all I have for today's video. I hope you found this video helpful and you can use some of these tips in your own ab training. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, as well as exercise tutorials and full workout videos and things like that, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on the gains. Follow me on Instagram at Athletic Body Systems, and please check out my website, athleticbodysystems.com. Alright guys, y'all have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.